So why the cat? Because essentially I am letting the cat out of the box to admit that I am not in any way an expert in quantum computing or quantum physics, and that my interest in quantum computing is in understanding its effects on cryptography and how data and people can be protected in the future. So my interest in this organization is in learning more about how we can work together collaboratively to minimize the effect of bad guys using quantum computing against the other 95% of people. So that's why I have this very cute cat here. Although I'm not a subject matter expert in quantum computing, I'm an aspiring expert in cryptographic keys. And the reason I use this slide is because it really is the genesis of how I came to where I am now, which is understanding how cryptography and the use of random numbers are the linchpin of all digital security. And so when we look at these keys, if we look here at the top left and this number 50, this key is from a hotel in Florence, Italy, and was probably printed somewhere in the early 1960s. And you can see when you look at this key, it's very basic. I'll liken that to an early analog algorithm that was processed by pencil and paper, right? Where there was no compute power really available. So what did we do to keep secrets safe? We used very basic pencil paper algorithms to generate keys that would keep things secret. Moving on, you can go into all the way up to what we might consider to be like a Fortran type card. You know, later 60s, early 70s technology. And you can see where this technology progressed to eventually become a mag stripe card, where we're imprinting information that is digital, although static in its way to keep a secret. And so you are still advancing the security, making it a little bit better than the hardware to keep it secure. But the point is that you are not actually secure because you know that the hardware is going to outpace the software at some point. Which is where we come to today. And the simple thing to understand is that algorithms for computer security were not created for the power of quantum computing. They were created to keep things secret over networks that were initially local area networks, where, well, we better add a passcode to this because someone might try to intercept it and read this message, to, well, this is going to pass over Web 1.0. And now, as we move into Web 3.0, we're still using Web 1.0 technology to try to keep secret safe. So linear processing provides a limited amount of power to bad guys to break secrets. Parallel processing, quantum computing, is obviously the next generation, and is what is going to have a drastic effect on where we are in terms of being able to keep secrets safe. So we consider this maze, like a pencil and paper as a human. A linear processor today is trying one combination at a time. We pencil, and then we go backwards, and then we try it again, and eventually we get to the end of the key. Right? So we crack the secret. But when we get to parallel processing, quantum processor, we're able to get through all possible combinations at one time. And the reason is because there's a beginning and there's an end. there's a seed state. This is where that random value goes in, and there's an end state. So we want to figure out this, like, if NIST says we're going to bring these 15 different companies, organizations together to create something that is a longer algorithm, a more complicated maze of a key, how are we going to stay ahead of the bear, right? How are we going to, as a, let's say, society that wants to evolve with better compute power so that we can solve complex problems, back to the cat, how are we going to evolve the encryption that keeps the secrets safe? So our National Institute of Standards and Technology has an idea around that, and that is to improve the algorithms that are used to keep secrets safe. I contend that a longer algorithm is only useful until the compute power to decrypt that algorithm is available. Because the algorithm is engineered with enough compute power, will, and time, it can be reverse engineered. And so my work is towards bringing together a solution that eliminates algorithms. I like this because this is say, I'm just going to move this out of the way. This is an image created by someone at NIST, right? A few select algorithms. Well, again, they are mathematically engineered. And anything that's engineered, we all know on this call, can be reverse engineered. And so what are these people doing? They're climbing a hill as if they're in some kind of super long bike race. This is just the next evolution of Alan Turing telling the joke about staying one step ahead of the bear in the woods, where he didn't have to beat the bear, he had to beat his friend. So this is what I am interested to share, is a concept around building a more secure digital world. And that is an authority that supports the security of digital environments, whether as public or as private. And so if we think about a water authority and how it collects water from various sources and treats that water to make it potable and test that water to ensure that it's safe for people to consume and use for growing plants and foodstuffs, and then makes it available for distribution. That's how I'm going to ask you to think about the future and entropy. And entropy, we all need to know, is a measure of the lack of order in any given system. So in computer security, we want to use high entropy because it provides us with a maximal amount of obfuscation. When we think about solving a puzzle, back to the maze, we look for things that are patterns, and we use those patterns to determine moves to become more efficient. When we consider computer security, we're thinking about how can we make this more complex of a problem, a longer algorithm. And again, I contend that instead of a longer algorithm, a more complex puzzle, make a puzzle that doesn't have a beginning and an end. Make it an endless stream of randomness that is impossible to figure out, where no one can figure out the key that leads to a network compromise. And so the entropy authority is designed to collect entropy from various sources, quantum random number generators, true random number generators, conventional computers, although we all know that solid state drives are a thing that is not producing high entropy, mobile devices, and we're able to collect these various sources of entropy and then commit them to validator nodes. So we have a decentralized way where a network consensus is required to test the quality of the entropy, just as that water authority is testing the quality of the water that they're going to push out for distribution and consumption. And so once we have tested using the die-harder suite in the validator nodes, we can then commit to a blockchain that manages the distribution and the use of the entropy as cryptographic keys. So essentially, we are generating cryptographic keys without the use of an algorithm, and therefore they cannot be reverse engineered. And that is my purpose, is to eliminate algorithms in computer security by providing true random numbers from sources, including quantum random number generators.